Welcome to this week's edition of Car Stars and Roll Bars. I'm Mike Kinney, your host. Do me a personal favor. Check us out on YouTube, social media. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Tell all your friends what we're doing. Each of our episodes, we pull back the curtain on or raise the hood on all types of activities associated with cars and hot rodding. And one of my personal favorites, NHRA. When I talk NHRA, go figure, my personal favorite is Top Fuel. Well, today, man, are we fortunate. We got Doug Foley with us, Foley and Lewis Racing, and they flat get it on. They're out there jumping on it like you won't believe the throttle. They got new sponsors that are helping this year, including E3 spark plugs. But probably the best way to talk a little bit about Top Fuel and what Doug's doing is to show you. So, Rick, go ahead and hit that play button. And all the viewers, you might want to crank up the volume. I'm just saying.
It's cool after all these years of being, racing to come to a track that I've never been to before, never actually competed in Top Fuel. I've been here with the school, but, to race Top Fuel here is pretty darn good. Great service, great people, and, definitely a place that we appreciate coming to and look forward to coming back next year. I think we're 13th. I'm not exactly sure. It's definitely not a number that we're thrilled with. We've definitely we've missed the mark the last 4 or 5 races, and we just not pleased with our performance. And that's where we're gonna have to pick it up next year because these guys are fast.
Well, they may be fast. I got to tell you, Haas, you're no slouch either. Man, welcome to the show. How you doing this morning, brother?
Thanks very much. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing how we can call 313 not fast.
I was going to say, you're well north of 3 and say, oh, we're kind of slow. So in that video clip, you're kind of sharing, you're bumping trailers with Steve Torrance, so that must have been a little interesting as well.
Absolutely. They say if you hang with the best, eventually you'll be the best. So we're trying.
Well, I've been around you a lot. I really like your style. We had the chance to hook up again at SEMA. We were all at the Red Line booth. Well, actually, we were hanging out with Torrance, and you came by. We got a chance to chat. Big shout out to all the folks there at Red Line. They do such an amazing job for the teams, and I know that's one of your favorite products, and I think you like having them as a sponsor as well.
Absolutely. When we came back, Mark was willing to come on board and really kind of give us a hand. And a lot of people don't know is, we run Top Fuel and we try to compete with the Torrances and those guys, but it's truly, we came from the sportsman ranks. So we try and run it like a sportsman team. We keep it within this mom and pop budget. And we try and go out there and take those sponsors that do come on board, like Red Line, E3, all of these great people, and get them exposure. And, hopefully they'll grow with us.
Hope you grow with us. And anybody that's seen the show, and a lot of people are watching this all, which is cool, I am still adamant to remind everybody, obviously when you see the drivers, man, it's really cool. Maybe you get an autograph and get that picture. But as Doug can attest, man, the team is just important as well. So I think we got some shots of whole members of you. There's a whole crowd of you guys getting ready to roll up towards the line, it looks like.
Yeah, people don't realize, just the whole coordination of what it takes to run one of these teams, especially for us. We have a day job. I'm in the real estate business. That's what helps me contribute to this. And Tim Lewis is retired, but it takes a whole team effort to make this happen. I mean, while we were eating lunch today, we're eating sandwiches and talking about hotel rooms for Charlotte and Chicago and booking that stuff. My wife does all of that. We don't have emulate those bigger teams and try and compete with them. We're going to put all of our effort into trying to put all of our dollars onto the track.
Perfect. And I tell you, it's working out incredible. Well, I think that's your cohort right there, if I'm not mistaken. Is that Mr. Lewis?
No, that's Guy Pierce and his wife Lisa. So Guy is the one who's probably responsible for gaining the most dollars for this team. He really goes out, works his butt off. He lives in the Philly area, and Protex right there, that sponsor that we're wearing those colors.
Beautiful.
That's somebody he got for us, and he works his butt off, and we all do it for the passion of the sport.
Perfect. I love it. I think, is that part of the family, if I'm not mistaken?
That's my kid. My kid drives the rig. Yep, that's Doug Jr. He drives the rig, gets it there, gets everything set up, does the tires and the clutch, and he's the first one to say, "Dude, you got to pick up those reaction times. What are you doing?" Yep, James, my cylinder head guy, just great people that take time out of their day and really make this happen.
Wow. And for the viewers, you'll notice he got different members of his team. They focus on a given aspect of this amazing race car. So it isn't like one guy just rebuilds your whole motor. You have somebody does the clutch. You have somebody does the heads, right? Because those are kind of like an art to get them to adjust the way you want, right?
They're absolutely an art, and so, if we move somebody's position, it's typically done during the winter where we have 2 or 3 months to get them up to speed on that position.
Good point.
But, the only way the tuners can get this car down the track consistently is if we give them the same product consistently.
Perfect.
So clutch has to be the same. The rack, the heads, everything needs to be identical. Beautiful. This way, when they make a change, that change is noticed.
Perfect. And talk about a change. This is a great segue. I think we have a video when you were so pleased to announce your co-crew chiefs. Hey, Rick, let's see if we can find out one.
Doug Foley can't wait to open the season next month in Gainesville. After all, last year, he almost won the Gator Nationals.
All of a sudden, you go up there for the final. You're excited, my first NHRA final. And, I launch off the starting line. I don't, just kind of going down there and basically thought we had it won. We would have won that one if we didn't. A spark plug pulled right out of the cylinder head. So we had dropped the cylinder at probably about 700 feet. So we dragged one all the way to the finish line with a hole out, which sure didn't help us.
Aaron Brooks tuned the car last year, but he left for Tasca's team during the offseason. So Foley took his time and finally decided to name Lance Larson and Glenn Hauser as co-crew chiefs.
Glenn Hauser, who's been in this business for years, okay? He's been in Brownsburg for a long time. He's worked for Coletta, DSR, you name it, he's worked for him. And just a great asset we had last year doing our blowers. So we were literally just sitting in the shop in December. I says, what about you? And he says, well, I thought the same thing, but, so we kind of talked about that. 2 days later, we heard that Lance had, separated from Clay's team and all of that. And it was kind of like well, what if we put 2 guys together? We've seen that work plenty of times in the past. These are guys that I think are eager to have this position and eager to kind of take it and grow with it. They know we have the parts and pieces. Yes, it's a part-time schedule, but the advantage is good for them because they'll have time to review data and kind of pick what's their plan going forward at the next event.
Wow. So co-crew chiefs, and like you mentioned, that was a great video and the way you introduced them. So you're not the first team to do it. So how's it going having 2 co-crew chiefs? I got to say that 3 times real fast.
Yeah, don't try that one.
Yeah.
But it's worked out really well. Cool. We had never done it before.
Right.
And I would say the reason we hadn't done it in the past was because of affordability. Now you have to bring 2 guys in. You have to compensate them, of course.
Yep.
But, Glenn is so knowledgeable on the blowers and the areas that he works on. And nobody's going to say that Lance doesn't have years of working on short blocks, motors, cylinder heads. And so it was a good combination. Cool. They both worked well together. Of course, in the shop, you don't know how it's going to go until you get out there.
That's true.
We tested, and the camaraderie, the conversation, or sometimes lack of it, was nice. Just, hey, listen, I'll handle this, you handle that, and let's just do our thing. Yeah. and it worked out. It worked out beautifully. I got no complaints at all.
Excellent. And I think you're like you're saying, you're so lucky to be able to grab those guys who's at kind of the right time, right place, and it's working for you. We got a picture of your shop. Now, for the viewers, some of these teams, they have a building the size of a small town. Doug, I think you're at kind of the other end of the spectrum.
It is. I mean, that's probably the smallest Top Fuel team there is. I mean, we keep it tight. We try to keep it organized.
Good for you.
But you work with what you got.
Yeah.
You could spend your entire day saying, I wish I was this guy, or I wish I was that guy, or I wish I had that budget. Or you could focus on making the best of what you got and try to figure out how to get a little bit more each day.
Yeah. Well, do me a favor, Rick. Pull us both up together here for a second before we jump in this next round of pictures. Because when I talk with my guests, car stars and roll bars, so we're all about hot rods and of course NHRA, but it's cool hot rods to begin with. So, to date, sir, what's your favorite automotive memory?
God, I've had a lot. Watching my kids win races.
Cool.
Because as a father, we started as a family that traveled the country teaching other people how to drive.
Right.
And my kids were involved in teaching before they ever drove.
Really?
It's kind of weird because they started driving at 8 because that was the age for junior dragsters.
Right.
But believe it or not, they were teaching people at 6 and 7 years old. They were strapping them in, giving them advice. No, these kids, they were brought up at the racetrack. Yeah. And so when I watched them start, when they won their junior dragster races, and now, the kids are now big car racing with, literally 50 feet from me, my kid is loading up to go to Piedmont.
Nice.
My other son works for IHRA, so he's going to Piedmont because they're having an event there this weekend. So we're a racing family, and that's what we do. And I yes, I loved my accomplishments in racing, but as a father, nothing like watching the pass down the torch and see these kids. Doug Jr. won a 300 grander. So these are kids that have won more money than I have, and so I think overall, watching it being passed down and knowing that the sport will continue in our name is important to me.
Absolutely. And you probably still remember when they got their first Wally, I bet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Doug Jr. won the first NHRA race of the year this year in Super Comp. Just said, you know what? I'm kind of bored of the cold weather. I'm going to drag my car down to Orlando. And he calls me Sunday night. He goes, I want it. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I wish I could be more like the younger generation because they are just easygoing. They just don't think it very, they're just cool with it.
I love it.
It's a great mentality to have.
Absolutely. Those great memories. Well, before we go back to pictures, what I call wrenching, what's your favorite hot rod that doesn't have a top? Well, I got to qualify that doesn't have a top fuel motor in it.
I'm a 70 Camaro split bumper guy. That's my car.
Wow.
That is my all-time favorite car. It was the second car I ever owned.
Right.
The 70 Cuda first.
Ooh.
And really nice car, but unfortunately it had the 318.
Yeah. It's kind of sleepy.
So that's the car I had. And then when I saw the front end of the split bumper Camaro, because obviously the 67 through 69s they were plentiful.
Yeah.
So even though they're great looking cars, when I 70, I was like, God, the front end of that car is just unbelievable. And I bought one and I built it and I had fun with that car. In 13 seconds with that car, driving it to school every day, and then take it to the track on the weekends. I remember I went 13:01 like 7 times in a row. I was so pissed that I couldn't get to go 12:99.
You couldn't get in the 12s.
No, I could not, no matter what I did, even if I paid the guy in the tower.
Okay, so now hold on here, Hoss. Now, to clarify for the viewers, and this will I'm going to be a little emotionally hurt here, but bear with me. So you had a Mopar and you went to Bowtie?
Yes. And everybody looks at a Top Fuel car, which is a replica of a Hemi 426.
This is true.
Obviously, what we do now is more towards the Hemi type of, replica and all of that. But and I'll tell you the main reason why. And back in those days, it was just a lot cheaper to be a Chevy guy at the time.
And I tell you what, Haas, it still is. We got a Superbird 2.0 in the garage with a 426 in it. Oh yeah, if I go to buy parts, you kind of wince. But all joking aside. Yeah, all joking aside for the viewers, yeah, that era of Camaro looks amazing. We're going to shift gears, pardon the pun. I think we got some pictures under the banner of what we call wrenching. And the viewers, here's some up-close shots. Maybe, Rick, you can start the very beginning of this set. I think we got some close-up shots of them when they got the heads and everything off, and you get an idea, when the heads are on it, you just get an idea of just what this circus is like with all these guys having to work together. So it looks like you got about 9 guys attacking that engine at the same time, but everybody's got their own job, right?
They do. Everybody's got a precise job down to the nut, okay? One guy will not touch that nut. It's the other guys, okay? So they know what they got. They know which – there's certain nuts that have to be tightened at the precise time as the other guy on the other side of the motor, so we get the manifold pulled down properly.
Yep.
So, you know, what they say, it's choreographed chaos.
I like that. Yeah, and so, and I was saying, we got a series of shots, and again, for the viewers, we wanted to capture these well. I want to thank Doug and his team so much that there's this whole crew essentially attacking this race car like ants on a watermelon. And your turnaround's what, about 45 minutes? I think, is that your window now?
Yeah, so it's about 45 minutes. You know, TV time has kind of dictated some of that, which we understand.
Yeah.
We've had the luxury of having Fox, which is great, and which really brought our viewership up. But at the same time, guys, you know, 45 minutes to tear that completely down. Sometimes there's problems. Sometimes you're changing a short block or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you're swapping a blower. But, you know, so that means you basically want to be able to fire this thing up in, you know, 30, 35 minutes. And, you know, that's pretty quick. So that's why you need talented help.
And if I remember correctly, when you get a new guy on the team, one of their first jobs, they're the guy that has to jump under and drain the oil, right?
Yeah, we've done that several times and then find out that we had guys that couldn't find the oil bucket and made a hell of a mess. You know? The good part is they never went any further.
Well, thank you for stopping by. Good luck with the rest of your career, right?
Yeah, I believe there's a seat in 160 section.
Yeah, when they don't know the difference between like a 1/2 inch and a 5-inch combination end wrench, they may not be the best fit for the team.
That's right.
Well, you know, NHRA has a new program coming out to partner race teams with individuals who want to become part of the racing family. So stay tuned for that coming up. They just did some announcements. Actually, we're going to have some of the representatives on the show later on this year. We look at my notes. We got some pictures of racing as well. Kind of shows all that. Now, there you are hanging out with Frank Pendragon. That's got to be kind of cool. And that had to be a fun interview, man.
Absolutely. No, I mean, they're all good people at the PRI show when we're doing announcements of what's going on with the team and where we're progressing. And so we always try to get as much publicity as we can for our sponsors and keep the team out in front if we can. Oh,
absolutely. I think we got a few more shots coming up. And there you are. That's kind of doing part of the walk. You got about 10,000 people cheering for us. They announced your name. You're getting ready to go racing.
That's right. Right. And hopefully the fan look at me just slightly ahead of Doug Coletta.
I think we got a few more. I love it. I knew this was going to be fun, and I was right. I think we got a few more pictures coming up. And I got to be candid, Haas. Out of all the shots I saw, this is the one that means a lot to me. I'm unabased in my faith, and God bless you guys for taking a moment just to kind of get your head right with God, right?
Well, a lot of people don't realize and it's hard to see Kelly in the background there. There are couples that travel and the entire Racers for Christ group.
Yes.
Okay. And, everybody gets involved here and gives us an opportunity. This is actually her husband that's praying with us.
Yep.
And, I give a lot of credit to these people who, they don't get the, whatever, the interviews and all the things and they're behind the scenes. But you know what? I won't make a lap in a car without one of them coming up and saying a prayer with us.
Beautiful.
And their family to us.
Yes.
We're having a barbecue at our house before the Charlotte race. The two of them are coming to our house to
Beautiful.
enjoy dinner the night before the race starts. These are people that are so integral to what is important. You get into that car, and anybody who knows what's going to happen or says they know what's going to happen in that car is full of it.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
if you don't think that a minute of prayer prior to a race, especially my wife is, she's in the photo there,
Yep.
She's obviously concerned every time I get in this car,
Of
and we're
course.
family, and
Yep.
It's family first for us. So
You betcha, man.
if you don't think having God on your side is important, then you need a readjustment in your life.
Yeah, you need to recalibrate. I've had the pleasure to run with the people from Racers for Christ for years. Thank you for giving a shout out. They are such an integral part of this, and they are some of the kindest, gracious people on the planet.
You can't get better people, and they travel the entire country.
Yes.
And follow our series around to
Yes.
give us that support. And if you get the opportunity, people, donate a couple dollars, give them some
thank you.
gas money, give them some lunch money, give them whatever you can. I understand, but support these people. If nothing more, just go over and give them a hug and tell them you appreciate what they do.
Appreciate what they do. Very well said. I think we got a couple more pictures. And so, so this was just a couple of weeks ago. That's kind of like that getting ready photo.
That's right. Yeah. We do a media day right before the race. And it's been, NHRA does a great job with their team in making sure we're prepared for, TV and everything that's available to us to promote these teams and promote the NHRA Camping World Series.
Beautiful. Well, very well done. I love this shot. So this is about 11,000 horsepower showing off a little bit.
If you don't like burnouts, there's something seriously wrong with you.
Thank you. Hey, Rick, bring us both up on camera before we go to the rest of the pictures. So years ago, Mary and I, because her family's are from around Tulsa, Oklahoma, so we're back there and we go to the Oklahoma State Fair. And so they had the booth where you could buy the scented candles. Hand to God, they had one of burnt rubber. I wanted to get like all through the house. Mary says, no, you can have them in the garage. And that's what they smell like. I love it. It's just.
That's great. If I could get one of that and VHT, I'd be like, I'm good.
Yes. Now for the viewers, bear with me a few minutes. They also had one that was, on the label, it said fart. So naturally I had to take the lid off and we all had to test smell it. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it's bad.
That's just part of being a guy.
Thank you. Mary goes, you took the lid off. I said, well, yeah, we wanted to make sure. Yeah, and it was. I think
wanted to make sure it's authentic.
I think we got a couple more coming up. I love this quote. If everything seems to be under control, you're not going fast enough. And of course, it's from Mario. I had the pleasure, I've interviewed Mario a couple times, and we talk about what goes on in the family and the racing, and just what a great ambassador he is for all of motorsports.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, you got these great families that spent years and generations now, of, able to promote it and keep it out there. Yeah. And, it's not easy. It's not easy. So you want to continue to see the sports grow. And for the,
You made me momentarily hung up. We'll see what happened here.
Am I not there?
Yeah, there you go. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah, for the viewers, we love, because he is literally across the country, so sometimes our wiring not is quite as crisp as it could be. Before we go to another video, and this is about one of my favorite things that happens when you walk up to the tape and you guys fire the car in the pits. Before we go there, one of the questions I always like to ask, especially people like yourself, you've been at this a long time, you're a name, you're very well known, deservedly so. So if you reflect back to date, Doug, who was kind of essential or the most helpful in assisting you in the trajectory of your career as far as NHRA?
That's hard. I mean, I bought my first car from Bruce Litton.
Oh, wow.
And, started there.
Yeah.
And, so those guys, kind of walking me through the first steps. We started in IHRA. So,
Cool.
we were competing with Clay and the Paytons.
Yep.
As you know, Barry passed away over the winter and, or actually in the fall race last year. But, these are people that are just, great people that were part of it and kind of, they understood we were just trying to get there. The Laganas, give me a break. I mean, Bobby and Dom, I mean, you're not getting more nitro than those two.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and me and Bobby grew up, even though we didn't know each other when we were young. Well, I'm substantially older than him, but we lived probably maybe 10 miles apart.
I'll be danged.
And, but when I first started racing, those guys were out there, and it was kind of like, it was top fuel racing, but it was sportsman top fuel racing.
Yeah.
If you needed a hand, they came over, they put a motor in your car for you.
Perfect.
Whatever needed to be done. So I would say that, that group of guys gave us the opportunity.
Excellent.
To really try to get started. You can kind of, figure it out. But those people that kind of gave you that little, that little boost.
Yeah.
And that person to shoot for. Clay was 6-time world champ, probably 4-time when I started. And, so we shot for him. That was our goal,
Beautiful.
And it was, if I'm clear, there was 3 Sundays that we beat him,
Nice.
and,
I love it.
and took the trophy home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, those are the memories that work hard and make you realize that you can climb the mountain. Sometimes it's one step at a time.
One step at a time, and having good people helping the camaraderie of other teams. Okay, viewers, if you've never been to an NHRA event, number one, you got to go. And when you go there, you got to be around what we call the tape. That's at the end of the pit where you can stand there, because they reassemble this car. You heard them talking about 30 minutes and change, and then they got to fire it. So this give you an idea what that is like. Hey, Rick, play that button. I have to joke because more majority of the crowd is way back. Again, for the viewers, I tell everybody what I love about Top Fuel. You can't hear, see, or breathe for a good couple of minutes. It's a life-changing experience.
Yeah, if it doesn't make your eyes tear,
That's
okay. Right. In the beginning of the warm-up, everybody's standing around the car, and then slowly, as you can see, we clear everybody out. Unfortunately, my guys can't leave, so they need to stay there and endure it. But it's just, it's just a great,
Absolutely.
It's just a great. Who've never been to an NHRA race to realize it's different than NASCAR and those stuff in the fact that every ticket is a pit pass.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you buy the ticket, you can walk up to any car you want, get their autograph, see their cars, see it be rebuilt. Okay. I'm one of the last holdouts. Okay. Every team now started backing their cars in to the pit area. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm one. I refuse to do it. I actually think there should be a rule in the rule book saying you're not allowed to do it. Okay. And the reason being is, would the fans rather see you pulling the clutch out and yanking the heads off, or would they rather see just the front wing of the car and the fuel tank?
There you go. Exactly.
So to me, they paid for the action. They're paying my bills.
Good for you.
And I think they deserve to see the action up close and personal.
Well, I tell you, you couldn't said it best. I'm with you. Anytime I get near there, we shot a bunch of stuff for NHRA with the Nevada Nationals last year. My video guy had never been there before. I thought he was going to pass out when they fired the car. I said, just wait. And he's got little tears in the eyes, and he goes, "What was that?" And I said, "Brother, that's Top Fuel." Well, Doug, we can't thank you enough for being on the show. Fantastic episode, and I know you're going to keep tuning those RTs. We look forward to seeing you here in Vegas, and I know every time you hit that loud pedal, God is on your shoulder, brother.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be on the show, and you guys stay safe, and let's keep the wheels turning.
We'll be talking to you soon, man. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now. That concludes this week's episode of Car Stars and Roll Bars. You got to check out everything going on with Foley and Lewis Racing, foleyandlewis.com, and you know you're going to have a great time when you talk to them in the pits. And until next time, enjoy the ride.